What's going on, everyone? Dare here, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. This may in fact be my last episode of the Stanley Parable. I'm not quite sure yet. I do know there is this epilogue on the main menu, but there are a couple other endings I still want to pop in for, so we're going to go do those first. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. Let's get to it. Okay, so balloons are
All
back.
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
So
Stanley
we need to take
the
this.
meeting room. The embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm trying to think what we have left. We need to do the escape. Did we go down the elevator yet? I can't remember what we have left. I know let's go do the escape. So and I know there's one other way that we haven't gone that we need to go to, but I can't remember what it was. I want to say
no one was here.
God, down
Stanley
the stairs.
Needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase,
was it down
and the
here?
bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No, we did the escape because the escape was the.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post
we've already done this
during
one too.
hours.
Okay, let's think about this. Let's think about this. We did the phone. We definitely jumped off on the moving thingy. We did the escape, right? No, it's not. No, it's not. Wrong escape. I'm stupid.
All of his co-workers were gone.
I'm stupid.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
I mixed up the escape and then the elevator down in the utility area, or wherever that elevator is.
Was here.
So we need to go. We need to do the escape.
Comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was coming to a staircase.
I think this might be our last
and
one.
The bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
outside
office.
of the epilogue.
Fine.
Okay. Took me a minute to get down here.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Fair.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Can we?
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Cool. And down we go. Hello? Ooh. Okay. So we've been here before.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
I don't think we did that.
It puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Bye, narrator.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator.
The narrator's narrator.
As Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
No. Ta-da!
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
Yeah, it did.
It was a glorious bucket to behold.
I agree. Is this a memoriam for the bucket? Welcome. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within. A cavernous void But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? Nifty.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I think that's more than 25 buckets. The Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains. No one can control the bucket. There actually is a bucket that was stolen in medieval times, and it's still on display somewhere. Why can I not remember? It's somewhere in Italy. I think it's in Italy. I hope they reference that here. Cave drawing. Awesome.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Can I get that bucket? If I jump for that, am I going to die? I'm going for it. Jump! Not out of reach.
But there is something we can do.
Oh no.
Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Don't take my bucket.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Fair. Hello? Okay. So I couldn't remember any other paths that I hadn't gone on yet with the bucket or without the bucket. So we're gonna go and figure out what's up in this epilogue. Epilogue. Many, many years later. Really? Oh, we've been here before. Okay. Yeah, everything's dead. We are wandering around in the desert. Is this picking up where that ending took off? Oh. The chair. That's fun. Very reminiscent of the Outer Wilds ending. I don't know why, but it just kind of is. There's a log. Oof. I like how the office chairs are the only things that stood the test of time. Take that, gamer chairs. A nice sunrise. Oh, okay. Okay. We're back in the memory zone. Maybe. If it doesn't disappear on me by the time I get there. How's that creepy music? Got a generator hooked up. Okay. In loving memory, the Stanley Parable 2. Is the narrator down here? I think he's down here, but he just went mad. His reviews. Cookie Nine's blog. Review the Stanley Parable 2. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. That's not true. We got the satisfaction of completing them. Oof. Jimothy. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been further from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Oh, it's great. Jim. Oop. Is that the way we're going? That's the way we're going. More figurines. $26, baby. Make sure I don't miss any of those. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Hello? Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise. What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we're going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number on the game's title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead. Try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game.
What?
What are we going to go with? I want to do the Revenge of the Coworker. I think that's fitting. Hidden coworker could be good though. Hidden scream could also be a good one. We're gonna go with hidden scream. The Stanley Parable 3 Hidden Scream. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it. I want you to yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. All right there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. It is 7:18 p.m. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. It's a little different for you guys than it is for me, because I feel like my screen is actually brighter than what OBS is. That'll work. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. Whoa, whoa. Put the pitchforks away. So I recorded this video a couple weeks ago to get ahead because I knew I'd be traveling for work. And at the end of that video, I thought, you know, maybe this could be end of it because I was pretty content with how I'd wrapped up the Stanley Parable, completely unrealizing how much I still did in fact have left. So after the comments in the last video, I decided, no, I can't leave it like this, which I do greatly appreciate everyone commenting, saying that they couldn't wait to see me actually get all the interactions and the endings experience. So I am going to be doing that. So once again, thank you. We'll probably have 2 more videos. The first one for the interactions that I missed, the second one for all the many endings that I have missed thus far. Other than that, thanks again, everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next one. Check you later.